Folks, let me tell you about a bait and switch scam and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending June 21, 2023. You know, as a realtor, I read a lot of listings and I read the details on this listing, and I'm often seeing numbers or phrases or comments on these listings that just don't make any sense. And when I verify them or I try to analyze or figure it out, it's kind of like, yeah, there's no way that this is true, what's written in the listing. I'll often, as an example, come across a buyer that says, Santo, I want to rent a place. I want to buy a place, but I want to be able to rent out, say, the basement. And so I'll look for properties that can accommodate that, where the family could live upstairs and the basement can be rented. And I'll read the kind of rents that they write on the listing. It's in a part of the listing called brokerage remarks. The public doesn't see this. This is for brokerage to brokerage or realtor to realtor. And it'll say in the brokerage remarks, basement rental receiving $3,000 a month. And I'll think, wow, this is a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom basement apartment in a small home. How in the world are they getting $3,000 a month? Well, the reality is they're not. You do a quick check of the area. I can see what other people are paying for rents for their basement apartments. There's no way they're getting that. So my advice to my client is, look, if you buy this house and you were to rent the basement, maybe you're going to get $1,500, maybe you're going to get $1,800, depending on what the number actually is. But I tell them, disregard what it says there of $3,000. Go with what I'm telling you, because that's the rental for the area for basement apartments. And then my client will do their math according to real, more accurate numbers. Well, I'm telling this story because there's a bait and switch going on that I've seen over time. It hasn't really affected me or my clients because we verify the numbers. But some people do get caught, and that's where the story is coming from. I received a call the other day. Somebody called me and said, Santo, we're in trouble. We're not sure what to do. Here's what happened. So these are, they're not brand new to Canada, but they've been here for a short period, but they're generally new to Canada, and they are ready to buy a house, and it was important to them that there was rental income to make it easier for them to afford the mortgage. And it was just two people, husband and wife, and they ended up buying this property where the advertisement on the listing said that they're receiving $7,000 for rent. This was a townhouse that they were receiving, excuse me, this was a small townhouse. They were receiving $7,000 a month for rent, $5,000 for the upstairs, and $2,000 for the basement. Let's not even get into the legality of, you know, the basement apartment in this townhouse. So with the person that called me, what their plan was, they were going to actually live in the basement and rent the upstairs, or continue to rent the upstairs, because the listing still read, and this is them explaining it to me, it read that the tenant was willing to stay. What a great deal. You buy a property and you can, you know, already have a tenant paying you $5,000 a month. Well, just before closing, they get a message saying that the tenant has decided to leave. So there were these people that called me, the buyers, in a bit of a panic, and their agent said, no worries, we'll just, as soon as you take possession, we'll rent it out to somebody else. We'll do it quick. Don't worry, rental market is really strong, their agent told them. It's true, the rental market is really strong, but $5,000 for a 3-bedroom townhouse, which it was an older townhouse, it wasn't even new, made absolutely no sense. Anyways, they advertised the upstairs, this 3-bedroom townhouse, for $5,000. Nothing happens. They lower the price, nothing happens. They lower the price some more. Eventually, it took them 4 months, and they ended up renting this 3-bedroom townhouse for $2,800 a month. Not $5,000 a month, $2,800. But they did all their calculations based on them receiving $5,000 for the upstairs. They carried the whole home for 4 months. They finally got rental, and they're going to be short in their math $2,200 a month. This person called me because they're in dire straits. They don't know how much longer they can afford. They just bought this 4 months ago, 5 months ago. They don't know how much longer they can afford to stay there. This drives me absolutely nuts. And you can almost see, like I can't tell you for sure this is what happened, but this is what happened. The listing agent and or the seller lied about the rental income. The whole point was, before closing, the tenant, if it really was a real legitimate tenant, was going to leave, and the buyer would be stuck with having, if they were going to rent it out, having to rent it out at a price that there's no way that they can get it. That bait and switch. Yeah, you're going to get all this rent, and then you don't get it. That is a huge letdown. Many people are buying with the attitude of they could really use the extra rental to help pay their mortgage. Now, I'm not even telling you that that's a sound financial business decision. I'm not going down that route with this example. This story is about the bait and switch, and don't believe everything that's written there. Verify what it says on the listing. Verify. If you're a realtor watching this, you have a duty to verify what's written on these listings and explain it to your clients. This is the reality, this is not. This is what you can expect. This doesn't seem like it's real, doesn't seem like it makes sense. You have a duty. So when the person that called me, when their realtor said, yeah, no problem, we'll just rent it out to somebody else, he or she should have known. There's no way they're going to get $5,000. They should have known even before the offer was put in. This doesn't make any sense that they're getting that much rent. Could have saved their client a ton of headaches, a ton of grief. Now we have another buyer, another person of the public that doesn't believe in their realtors, doesn't believe in the system, thinks that the system, messed them around, cheated them. Part of it, hey, they got to take responsibility too, because it was kind of too good to be true, wasn't it? If it seems too good to be true, we all know the story, it probably is. Well, look, there's lots of blame to go around here, but I'm telling you, I see it. I see crazy, stupid, unrealistic rental incomes being reported. If they don't get verified, you or somebody you know can get into trouble. Who you hire matters. It's so important. Somebody is looking out for your best interest and verifying what's written on the listing. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from this video, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. If you're interested in a unique multi-family home, stick around and check out the video at the end of this video. So for a while now, I've been speaking about the market is slowing down. I kind of do this. I'm looking at prices slowing down. I'm looking at sales slowing down. And that's generally speaking. But it's not cut and dry. It's not today we're on fire and tomorrow we're slowing down. And it's not that all the data points even point to it. But generally speaking, that's what I'm seeing. There's less offers, less showings, less percentages selling, it's lower percentages selling at list price or more. But then there's other data points that maybe sometimes point the other way. Let me show you. Let's get into the numbers and we'll see what we're talking about. Well, let's start off with Mississauga up top here. Average sold price went way up over the previous week. Then we have Brampton in green, and in orange we've got the Durham region here. We're going to start off with Mississauga. These are for detached properties only, broken down by week for a whole year. 58 detached properties were sold, which is up from the previous week. And look, generally speaking, sales have been declining, but this 1 week, sales went up quite a bit from the previous week. And the amount of properties selling at $2 million or more are pretty high. They went up to 12 for week ending June 21st. Average sold price shot way up to $1,678,000. It's one of the highest average sold price, not the highest, but one of the highest that we've had all year. Compared to last year, $1,678,000 is 15% higher than where we were this time last year. The median price is 14% higher than this time last year. Now, previously, when we're looking at March and April, average price and median price were both steadily going up, increasing. But over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, prices just seem a bit stable. And I'm basically using the dotted line as my barometer there. The dotted line is a 4-week moving average. When we look at sales, 58 were sold, 45% sold at list price or more, and that percentage has been declining. So that's one of the things I'm looking at, one of the data points that kind of tells me things are slowing down. That, and I'm experiencing it in the field working with sellers and buyers, but the data kind of correlates to what I'm experiencing in the field. Active listings. Active listings for 2.5 months now has been steadily increasing. Active listings is basically at the end of the cycle, so at midnight June 21st, at the end of that period, how many properties are still available for sale, not sold, and that number has been increasing week after week. We're now sitting at 374 properties not sold. Months of inventory. Although from previous week to now it did go down, if we look at the overall trend, months of inventory has been increasing. So those 2 data points or 3 data points, percentage selling at list price or more coming down, active listings going up, months of inventory going up, tells me that we're headed into, or we are in the process of, slowing down. And when that happens, when we're more into it, we'll see prices coming down even more. Assuming it continues that way, here's Brampton. 75 detached properties were sold. So here's a data point that kind of goes against what I just said. We should expect to see sales kind of coming down, but they haven't. They've been pretty steady in Brampton. 3 of those properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price came way down to $1,248,000. $1,248,000 is 1% lower than where we were this time last year. Median price is 5% higher than this time last year. And for a while now, we've been saying prices have been going up, and you could see that. But the last 3, 4 weeks, prices look like they're trending down. Of the 75 that sold, 61% sold at list price or more, and that's been trending down, that percentage. Active listings. Well, we listed 215. This is just for detached properties, but you could see active listings. What do we have here? About 2.5 months ago, we're at 250 active listings. We're now more than double that to 508 active listings. More choices means prices come down. Months of inventory, it's pretty steady now. Since the middle of April, it's steadily been increasing. Properties are taking longer to sell. Properties are sitting out there a little bit longer. What we're buying versus how many are available for sale, that's how we get the months of inventory number, and it's headed up. As months of inventory increases, prices tend to come down. Now, sometimes we could look at the average days on market as in correlation to months of inventory. This number here, and it's 10 for week ending June 21, it's really hard to look at the months of inventory as a really important factor, because I see it as not, that number is really listing days on market. It's not property days on market. So if I have a property on the market for 9 months and it's not selling, and I reduce the price and relist it, and it sells in 1 day, that property is going to show days on market 1 day. It won't show the other 9 months because it didn't sell on that listing. The new listing sold in 1 day. So that's why that number kind of doesn't make sense. And there are offer nights, there are price reductions, and it's each time it's a new listing, it's that last listing that sells. That's the number they take. And that's why it's hard to look at the average days on market, because that's really listing days on market. It's not property days on market. Here's Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. Sales down almost each week now. For a while they've been going down. 49 detached properties were sold. No properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price climbed a little bit to $1,198,000. 1,198 is 4% lower than where we were this time last year. The median price is 10% higher. Prices have been trending up, but the last 4 weeks or so starting to turn the other way. Of the 49 that sold, here's a number that makes no sense. 90% sold. Excuse me. 90% sold at list price or more. Has nobody told the buyers out in the Pickering, Ajax, or Whitby area that the market is slowing down? They're lining up there and really competing. Active listings is increasing. Months of inventory is increasing. It's still low at 1.1, but it is higher than where we were 4 weeks ago at 0.6, and it's been increasing on a weekly basis. Here's condos. This is for all of Peel region. 41 condos were sold. None of those were sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price came way down to $606,000. 606 is 8% lower than where we were a year ago. Median price is 8% lower than where we were a year ago. And overall, it kind of looks like for the last 2 months, prices have been quite steady. Up and down a little bit, but quite steady. Of the 41 that sold, a third, 34% sold at list price or more. Listings, 138 were listings. Active listings is also not by a lot, but steadily increasing each week. And months of inventory, let's forget this crazy one here of 3.9. It has been increasing. We're sitting now at 2.3 months of inventory. We're starting to approach a balanced market when it comes to condos across Peel. Here's a summary. Months of inventory, generally speaking, are on the rise. Although Mississauga did come down, it's still higher than what it's been just a few months ago. I see the market change it. A lot of the data points to it. Not all the data points, but a lot of it points to the market slowing down. Could be seasonal. That would make sense. Could be the interest rate hike and the talk of maybe more interest rate hikes. That makes sense. A lot of reasons pointing to why the market is slowing down a bit. But there's some data points that are not quite there yet. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Before you see the inside of this home, let me tell you why it's so special. It's a large home, 8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. It has 9-foot and 10-foot ceilings. Each individual room has its own climate control. All those are great features to have and only come in custom-built homes. But the thing that really stands out is that this home was designed from the very beginning as a triplex. So because of that, possibilities are numerous. This home would easily suit a multi-generational family where each family can have its own private living quarters. It would easily suit a family living in the principal residence or in the principal unit and renting out the other units. It would suit an investor that wants to rent out all 3 units, and it would suit a work from home type of business where the business quarters are separate from the rest of the house. Lots of possibilities. Now back to the tour. Let me start by showing you Unit A. Unit A is a self-contained, luxurious 3-bedroom, 3-bath unit. Have a look. So this is Unit B. It's the largest of the units. It's the principal unit. Has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Have a look. So now you're seeing the basement, which is currently connected to Unit B, but it easily converts to a self-contained 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit with 10-foot ceilings and large windows that are all above grade.